Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about some very interesting information regarding the next update in online. And in today's video, it's all going to be about details from the insiders in the community, which is pretty rare. We actually see them speak out really all at the same time. So this is actually going to be really cool. So I'm pretty excited about this video. And it also gives us some cool details on what could be coming up next. So the first bit of information today comes from FunMW2. He said the submersible and the Kraken. So I'm not sure if he's talking about the submarine and the Kraken, but aren't those the same thing? But are there two submarines? I'm not sure. He says, we're supposed to be featured in transform races. The idea is that you transform into one of them, and the code will boost the engine power enough to keep you moving, as both of them are freaking slow. Maybe this new update will feature part of the transform races alongside new vehicles that can go underwater. All right, so let's quickly talk about that for a second. Number one, I think that's pretty cool. In case you guys don't know what the transform races are, it's basically another type of stunt race that Rockstar added in the drip feed in Smuggler's Run. It basically takes Cunning Stunts tracks, but adds sort of a transform-like power-up feature. And apparently, Rockstar were going to have the submarine. So essentially, we were going to be doing some underwater racing. Now, I'm not sure if those were the only vehicles that we would be able to use underwater. And again, the Kraken doesn't seem all that exciting. I'm sure you guys know if you've ever been underwater with a Kraken, you're going very, very slow. So maybe that's why Rockstar didn't include that, because it just didn't seem all that fast-paced enough. And then a user, Ben GTA 5, said, if the main theme of the new update is the transform special vehicle races, I will just buy all the new cars they give us and move on to other games until the spring or summer update. And FunMW2 says, I'm not talking about the main theme of the next update. It could end up like Smuggler's Run, part of the next update. I'm just saying we could see Transform Races Part 2. Now, that would be very interesting if Rockstar had a brand new theme for the March update, whatever it is, and then as a part of the drip feed, they included Transform Races Part 2. I think that would be the best case scenario for a lot of people, because I think what people don't want to see is a update centered around a second rendition of transform races that feature maybe some new vehicles. And I think if they were to include transform races, people would definitely want it to be more so as part of the drip feed than the main update. Now, moving on to the underwater part, I think now with some of the new vehicles Rockstar have added, there's actually a more opportunity to do that. So the Stromberg was added with the Doomsday Heist, which is actually a really quick underwater car. So maybe Rockstar could include that, introducing the Kraken, the submarine, and something like the Stromberg, which would make underwater racing a little bit more, I guess, enjoyable, I guess you could say. I still think it's a little bit wacky, and I'm not sure I would totally love it, but at least with the Stromberg and maybe some of the other Doomsday Heist vehicles, it's a little bit of a better addition to the game. Now, moving on, we get some information from Yan. It's actually been a while since he's talked about anything relatively significant in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, someone on the GTA forums basically asked Yan where he was, why there hadn't been any information, etc. And he responded with, info has been dry since a while, to be honest, and I'm not pushing to try and get more. I'm personally tired of online, haven't played it in weeks, so motivation to find out more about it is very, very low. In other words, I don't care about what's coming next, and I understand if it's a bit selfish since you guys would like some info. All I know, and I think I've talked about it before, is there is at least 2 updates being worked on. No idea about theme or content. There's still that hipsters-like update, and they worked on that. Could still be coming, or could it be scrapped? No idea. Sometimes they explore themes and content, and it ends up not making it. That's very common in video games. All right, so we got a lot of information to break down there, so let's jump into it. So in case it wasn't obvious, Yan isn't someone that works for Rockstar. It looks like he has a source, and apparently that source has been dry for a little bit, and he's just not trying to get any more information. The next big thing is he states that there's 2 updates being worked on. Now, this shouldn't be something that really surprises you either or all that shocking. It's pretty clear that Rockstar isn't working linear on one update at a time. That's just not a good business strategy. They've probably got their development team working on 2 or 3 updates, and maybe that third update is sort of like an experiment one. Like if it works, we'll add it. If not, we'll completely drop it, because ultimately that makes sense. I know how difficult it is for Rockstar to make these updates and come up with new content, so they're definitely not working on one at a time. However, getting to the very interesting part, he says there's still that hipsters-like update they worked on that could be coming or could have been scrapped. Now, I think there's a third option to that. I think that hipsters update that he's talking about has already potentially been in the game with sort of the hipster style cars we've been getting over the last 2 or 3 DLCs, like the Karen 190Z, like sort of the other cars we've been getting, the sports classics, the off-roads. All of those sort of have that hipster vibe to them. And I think the last thing we can get out of this is really, I don't think we're going to be getting any significant leaks from Yan or his source anytime soon. Maybe the source just doesn't have any information, or maybe Yan just personally doesn't care anymore. Either way, it doesn't look like any more details are going to be coming from that front. But still, it is pretty cool to know, at least get his side of the story on that, and sort of see what he thinks is going on in the next update and in the future. The next bit of information comes from XXII, who I'm not sure if you would quote-unquote call him a leaker, but he definitely has the ability to dig into the game files and has found some interesting things before. He said this: GT Online, I'm confident that this month's update will be related to Special Transform Vehicle, as I found in the files. But there will be an additional update to add content to be released, another update next month, April or May. So this kind of lines up with what Yan says. So XXII, according to him, he says there's going to be an update in March, and it's going to be something along the lines of the Transform Races Part 2 or Transform Races Special Vehicle Circuit. But he also says very quickly Rockstar is going to do another update in April or May. So that sounds pretty interesting as well, and it kind of throws a loop into what you might think the content of the next update is going to be. And if that's the case, you'd think the March update would be pretty small, something like Transform Races Part 2, because that doesn't give Rockstar a lot of time to release a ton of drip feeding vehicles or to allow us to enjoy the content before they start shifting focus to the next update. So if that's the case, I think the April or May DLC could be pretty big, or it could be tied to something like GTA 4 and the remaster or something like that. And then this March update might end up being pretty small. Now, that's another thing a lot of people have wanted me to try and talk about, and that is figuring out the theme of the next update. And right now, really, no one knows. A lot of the sort of guesses we have are the Transform Races Part 2. A lot of people have been assuming that it's going to be a tuner-style DLC. Others have been pointing towards another military-style update. Some have been pointing towards a naval or sea base update where Rockstar explores sort of the final frontier of watercrafts and customizing and building those. Right now, no one knows what the theme of the next update in GT Online is going to be, at least except for Rockstar, and there haven't been any hints or clues to really get us to figure out what that is. Moving on, we need to talk about another insider. This is the rogue Rockstar employee on 4chan. So this kind of eliminates one theme, if indeed you think this is true. Again, this is the guy who leaked the Bikers update and the Import-Export update. He said, and the tuner thing, we haven't really got any interest there, referring to Rockstar. Lowriders is the closest you get. So that was the rogue Rockstar employee on 4chan basically stating that a full-blown tuners update, Rockstar doesn't have any interest there. Now, that was over 2 years ago when he said that, so maybe Rockstar's opinions have changed because they have added like tuners vehicles into the game for sure, like the Sentinel Classic, the Karen 190Z. Maybe he was just talking about a full-blown tuners update not being a thing. And I wanted to sort of throw this guy at the end, really because I think I trust his credibility the least. But for whatever reason, every time this guy posts something, like everyone always tweets me and says, you've got to check out what he said. So he said this: here's a funny joke. How many T's are in 60? 6, of course, 6T. And if you read like the comments and the threads and the response to this, everyone's saying like it could totally be a hint on the 6th of March. Is something happening on Tuesday, March 6th? Like everyone is responding to that guy with like the exact same thing. Other people are saying that it's a bunch of, 1960s classic cars, like a Dominator Classic or something like that. So again, I'm not sure what to think of this insider right here. You guys can certainly form your own opinions, but that right there is all the information I've got for you guys in this video today. I know it was a little bit of a long one, but it's rare that you get FunMW2, Yan, and XXII all providing really information within the same time period, which is kind of cool and definitely interesting to report on. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What the heck do you think is going to happen next in Grand Theft Auto Online as far as an update goes or a DLC? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. We make daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.